You picked up your phone 40 times today. You didn't decide to. Your hand just moved. It happened before you noticed, and it will happen again in a few minutes, whether you want it to or not. But the real answer for why is far stranger than willpower or distraction. It reaches back through millions of years, into a brain that was never built for a glowing rectangle, and yet fits that rectangle perfectly. Start with the hand. It reaches for the pocket. The screen lights up. Nothing new is there. You check again anyway. Why does an empty notification feel like an itch you have to scratch? The answer starts with a psychologist named B.F. Skinner and a box full of pigeons. Skinner discovered something unsettling in the 1950s. When he gave pigeons food on a fixed schedule, they pecked steadily, calmly, like clocking in for a shift. But when he made the reward random, unpredictable, arriving sometimes after one peck and sometimes after 50, something changed. The pigeons pecked harder, faster, almost frantically. They couldn't stop. This is called a variable reward schedule. It is the single most addictive pattern ever discovered in behavioral science. Slot machines run on it. So does your phone. Every time you unlock your screen, you are the pigeon. Sometimes there's a message, sometimes a like, sometimes nothing at all. You never know which one it will be, and that not knowing is the whole trick. Your brain doesn't crave the reward, it craves the uncertainty. Here's where it gets stranger. The craving isn't even about pleasure. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying dopamine, the chemical everyone blames for addiction, and he found something almost nobody expects. Dopamine doesn't spike when you get the reward. It spikes right before, in the space of not knowing. The anticipation is the drug. The reward itself is almost an afterthought. Think about that for a second. The urge to check your phone isn't your brain wanting something good to happen. It's your brain wanting to know. And it will keep asking, over and over, because the asking itself feels like progress. So why does your brain care this much about knowing? Why would evolution build a system this obsessive? Because for most of human history, not knowing could kill you. Your ancestors lived in small, tightly bound groups, and their survival depended on tracking social information constantly. Who was upset with whom? Who had extra food to share? Who might turn against the group? The anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent years studying primate social bonds and found that grooming, physical touch between group members, wasn't really about hygiene, it was about information. Every scratch and pick through fur was a small transaction of trust, a way of checking the emotional temperature of the tribe. You don't groom anymore, but your brain still runs the same program. Every glance at your phone is a grooming gesture aimed at a group that's mostly invisible. You're not checking for food or danger, you're checking your social temperature. Has anyone reached out? Has anyone noticed you? Are you still safely inside the tribe? That question used to only need answering once or twice a day. Now it's answerable every second, from every direction, by hundreds of people at once. Your ancient alarm system was built for a village of maybe 50 people. It is now wired into a network of billions. No wonder it never turns off. There's a darker layer underneath this, too. Uncertainty isn't just tolerated by your brain, it's actively uncomfortable. Psychologists have long observed that unresolved situations create a kind of mental itch, a nagging pull to finish what's unfinished. An unanswered text lingers in your mind the way an unfinished sentence lingers in a conversation. Your brain treats it as an open loop, and open loops demand closing. Every app you use is, whether by accident or design, built around open loops. The message preview that cuts off before the punchline. The video that ends on a cliffhanger. The 3 dots that show someone is typing and then stop and then start again. Each one is a tiny, unresolved moment, and your brain cannot simply let it go. Is this really different from a hunter 300,000 years ago, hearing a rustle in the grass and needing to know what made it? Not really. The rustle could be wind. It could be a predator. Not checking wasn't an option then, and somehow, It still doesn't feel like an option now, even when the worst outcome is a mildly annoying advertisement. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Every one of these mechanisms, the variable reward, the dopamine anticipation, the social grooming instinct, the open-loop discomfort, was discovered and documented by scientists decades before smartphones existed. The people who built the apps on your screen didn't invent a new kind of temptation. They found the oldest levers in the human mind and wired a machine to pull them automatically, thousands of times a day, for free, forever. You are not weak for checking your phone constantly. You are ancient. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do, responding to social uncertainty as if your survival depended on resolving it immediately. The tragedy isn't that you lack discipline. It's that the system reading your instincts understands them better than you do. So what actually helps? Not more willpower. Willpower was never the mechanism at play. What helps is making the uncertainty visible. Turning off notifications doesn't remove temptation through discipline. It removes the random reward schedule that Skinner's pigeons couldn't resist. No randomness, no obsessive pecking. Leaving your phone in another room doesn't test your self-control. It just makes the open loop harder to reach. And distance is the one thing dopamine anticipation has never been able to argue with. None of this means the urge disappears completely. Your brain will always care about social belonging. It will always want to know if it's safe within the group. That instinct kept your ancestors alive for hundreds of thousands of years, and it isn't going anywhere. But maybe the goal was never to silence it. Maybe it's just to recognize it for what it actually is. Not weakness, not addiction in the way you've been told to think about it. Just an old, faithful survival instinct, reaching for a village that no longer exists, using the only tool it has left to try to find it. You will pick up your phone again today. Your hand will move before you decide to let it. But now, when it lights up and there's nothing there, you'll know exactly why you reached for it in the first place.